Hey everyone, Seth coming to you from the KENWOOD Training Department. Today we've got our new DDX9704S Multimedia Receiver. This receiver supports not only Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but also our new DRV-N520 integrated dashboard camera. It also supports high resolution file playback, 192K 24-bit of FLAC and WAV files, and direct stream digital DSD file playback and support for the best of the best in sound quality. While we're talking about quality, how about a new capacitive touch panel for the best of the best in picture quality and performance? Well, today we'll take a look inside of the box, and then we'll power on the receiver and go through a brief overview of some of the new features that it has to offer. Taking a look inside of the box, the first item that you will see is the GPS antenna. This is extremely important this year, as this is required when using the DRV-N520 integrated dashboard camera. It also helps boost the performance when used in conjunction with your Android Auto mapping, so be sure to install this included GPS antenna. Next will be your included USB cables, and then the wiring power harness. New for 2017 is the support of the CMOS-320 camera. You will see a CAM- and CAM+ wire that we'll cover in a few moments. Next will be the Bluetooth microphone, and then some various paperwork and accessories. You've got your mounting screws, the KENWOOD radio removal tools, and the GPS antenna mounting plate. This is important if you cannot mount the GPS antenna on the exterior of the vehicle to a metal surface. This is the next best bet. It will help increase the performance of the signal of the GPS antenna when placed on top of a dashboard, as it does have a metal plate inside of it. Next, you'll see the warranty card. KENWOOD DDX9704S does include a 1-year warranty. And then you've got your instruction manuals available in a few different languages. Next will be the trim bezel for the receiver. And now let's take a look at the receiver itself. You will see that the receiver does include a mounting cage. Let's take a look at the back side. The first cable you'll see is labeled Dash Cam. This is where you would connect the video portion of the integrated DRV-N520. You will also see it is labeled Front View Camera. If you choose to use a separate front view camera instead of the DRV-N520, this is where you would make that connection. Then you'll have the rear view camera input. Next will be the video output for supporting secondary headrest monitors or other monitors in the vehicle. The other cable down here is for the AM/FM antenna input, as the DDX9704S does include HD radio. Above that is your AV out audio. This is where you connect your audio jack to support that rear video system. To the right of that will be the Bluetooth microphone input. And next to that is the GPS antenna input. Below that, starting at the bottom, you've got 3 sets of 4-volt RCA pre-outs. Subwoofer at the bottom, front in the middle, and rear at the top. On the right side of the receiver, you will see a new connection labeled Dash Cam. This is where you would connect the Dash Cam integrated Molex plug portion to the receiver. To the right of that will be the AV in. To use this, we recommend the KENWOOD CA-C3 AV cable. This can serve for a wide variety of applications. Possibly you want to add an additional front camera instead of just going with a DRV-N520. This would allow for easy selection through the AV input menu that you can customize to the home screen. Or you may choose to connect an HDMI input to this. When using that, you can use an iSimple ISHD01 to make that connection. To the right of that will be 2 USB cables. You will see a black USB and a gray USB. The black USB cable can be used for Android Auto, CarPlay, USB flash drives, hard drives. The gray USB cable can be used for anything that we just mentioned except for Apple CarPlay. And the reason for that is that you can now use a secondary iPod with a lightning style connector in conjunction when using Apple CarPlay on the black USB input. That's a new feature for the summer release products. Below that, you will see the wiring power harness input. And to the right of that will be the aux input portion of the iDatalink Maestro RR. And up above to the right is the other portion of the data connector for the Maestro RR. Using a Maestro RR will increase and enhance the performance of the KENWOOD DDX9704S. Below that will be the SiriusXM SXV300 tuner input. Now, we talked about these USB cables a few moments ago. We understand that we do include 2 extension cables for this, but many customers want to be able to have a USB flush mount on their vehicle. So we've done extensive testing with USB flush mount adapters. When using the Pack Audio USB DMA6 or the Pack Audio USB CPAA6, we have experienced the best results. They've increased the size of the power and ground wires, used twisted data wires, and increased their size as well, so performance has been enhanced versus their prior generation of products. When first powering the receiver on, you will see an initial setup menu. This provides for easy access to changing things like the language, the clock. When you look at the clock and select it, it gives you the option of GPS sync. When using the included GPS antenna, this would allow for automatic clock synchronization to clock and date. If you'd prefer, you can select manual and then go in and change your time zone and adjust the clock and date. You can change to whatever specific date it is, a specific time that you'd like to, if you'd like to have it set ahead a few moments, whatever it may be. Select Set, and that will confirm it. Selecting the back arrow will take us back 1 level. The display will give us easy access to set the key color display. Also easy access to the new electronic viewing angle. When selecting this, you will see the internal focus of the receiver display change. This can be very beneficial in dashboards that have an extreme angle. We'll select the back arrow, and then the back arrow again. Next will be the easy access to your camera setup. For the rear camera, you can have the camera set as an other or as a CMOS-3 series camera. So as mentioned earlier, with that wire power harness having the CAM plus and CAM minus wires that need to be connected to this camera, we've got a CMOS-320 connected to this receiver as a rear camera. So we'll select that as the rear camera type. Going down the menu further, you'll notice dashboard camera / front camera. When using the integrated DRV-N520, this is where you would select that as the dashboard camera. You could also use a CMOS-3 series camera instead of the dashboard camera as a front camera or another camera, such as a KENWOOD CMOS-230 or CMOS-130. We'll select Close and then Back. Next, demonstration as a default is turned on, so we'll select Off and then Finish. You will notice that driver safety is important to KENWOOD. If you choose to remove this agree message automatically after 10 seconds, simply select that check mark box and it will remove itself automatically. At any point in time, you can select agree if you'd like as well. On the home screen, you will see your widgets in the upper right-hand corner, such as the clock and date, your EQ, and the compass. You could have additional widgets such as radar detector integration, tire temperature, and tire pressure when using the optional Maestro RR interface. You'll notice HD radio. This mirroring icon right here would be for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you had one of those devices connected. Possible SiriusXM input if you're using the optional SiriusXM SXV300. And then quick easy access to your Bluetooth phone information. We'll select the back arrow. Selecting the 9 boxes in the lower left-hand corner will give you access to additional sources. Selecting the right arrow or sliding over, you will see additional sources such as your Maestro RR sources. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you were wanting to use an additional front camera with the DRV-N520, you can do that with the CA-C3 AV cable through the AV input and then customize that to the home screen. To customize any of these icons, just simply push and hold and then drag over to where you'd like it to be. Now when we select the home button, you will notice that you have quick, easy access to your AV input. We'll select the menu button and go through some of the setup functions. The upper left-hand corner is your AV control for AV output. The OEM setup down here would be to access and control some of the iDatalink Maestro RR functions. Prior generations had a feature called automotive mirroring. Well, this year we've simplified the process so that you don't have to go through a specific connection type such as Bluetooth or hardwired. The receiver can automatically detect the proper connection type to access sources such as Pandora and Spotify. Next, the display. You will notice that the dimmer is labeled as sync. Sync will allow the dimmer function to turn on and off if you have the dimmer wire connected to a switch in the vehicle. Otherwise, you can select off or on to at any time manually turn the dimmer off and on. Below that will be the on-screen display for the clock. If you like to have that clock being displayed when you have, for example, a video playing when in park on the screen, you can have that clock in the upper right-hand corner or simply turn it off. We went through some of these other features earlier on. We'll next go to the user interface where you can turn user customizable features such as the beep on and off. You can adjust the clock as we did earlier as well. Next, you'll see the camera. This is where you would select your specific camera if you were setting it up after your initial installation. That's where you access that menu. Select the back arrow next to the special menu. This is where if you wanted to turn the demonstration on or go through other settings like your audio setup, memory or recall, or look at your software information to see what firmware information version is on the receiver, that's where you would access this info. Next, we'll select the back arrow. Then we'll select Bluetooth. This is where you would turn the actual receiver's Bluetooth off or on, or set other Bluetooth specific settings. We'll select the back arrow and go to the home screen. Now at any point in time, you can select the menu button and then select camera to access your camera functions. In this case, the CMOS-320 is displayed as the rear camera. You get touchscreen control. You can select the right side of the screen to change to the different viewing modes of the camera. One of my favorites is the split screen view. Selecting the left side of the screen will turn your parking guidelines on and off. The top portion of the screen would allow you to toggle back and forth from a front to a rear camera if you have 2 cameras selected. And the lower portion of the screen will simply cancel back to the prior screen that you were on. You will notice when you select the eject button right here, you can manually change the viewing angle itself using the motorization as opposed to using the internal electronic viewing angle. We'll select 0 to put us back to flat. So again, just a sampling of some of the cool new features that the DDX9704S has to offer, keeping in mind a great opportunity to build a system of your dreams using Kenwood amplifiers, speakers, and subwoofers, and so much more. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the unboxing and feature highlights of the DDX9704S Multimedia Receiver. Be sure to check back to our YouTube channel often for new product information videos. And as always, we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.
Kenwood.